Deep under the ice of Antarctica, where the world had long forgotten to look, a single light still glowed. Outside, Earth was dead. Cities were dust. Oceans were poison. The sky rained ash from fires that never stopped burning. For over 200 years, the galaxy had treated Earth like trash. The alien alliance, called the Veltari, had crushed humanity like bugs. They took human children for slave labor. They bombed museums, schools, hospitals. They called humans soft meat and laughed as Earth bled. But deep below, in a hidden bunker called Site Zero, the last 127 humans waited. They weren't hiding to survive. They were waiting to fight back. In the control room, Dr. Lena Reyes stared at a cracked screen. Her hands shook, but her eyes were hard. She hadn't smiled in 10 years. Not since her daughter was taken by Veltari raiders. On the wall behind her hung a faded photograph. A little girl with pigtails, holding a toy rocket. Next to her stood Captain Elias Voss. Once a pilot, now just a tired old man with a metal leg and a voice that sounded like gravel. He leaned against the console, arms crossed, watching a countdown timer. 3 hours, he said. Then we launch. Lena didn't answer. She typed a final command into the system. Deep in the bunker's core, something hummed to life. It wasn't an engine. It wasn't a weapon. It was Orion, the last war AI ever built by humans. Orion wasn't like the smart machines the Veltari used. It didn't just calculate. It remembered. Every scream from Earth's final war. Every name on the missing list. Every child lost. Orion carried it all. Do you think they'll hear us? Lena finally asked, her voice quiet. Voss spat on the floor. They'll hear us all right. And when they do, they'll wish they'd left us alone. Outside, the wind howled like a ghost. The bunker's roof was buried under 50 meters of ice. But below it, hidden in a cavern carved by lasers, sat the Retribution, humanity's last ship. It wasn't big. Not like the Veltari dreadnoughts that filled the skies. But it was fast. Silent. Built from stolen parts, melted down tanks, and the broken hulls of fallen alien fighters. Its skin was black, coated with a special paint that absorbed radar, light, even heat. It didn't reflect. It disappeared. Inside the ship, 5 crew members checked their stations. None were soldiers. Not really. One was a teacher. One was a mechanic. One was a kid, just 16, who'd grown up underground and had never seen the sun. His name was Kai. He sat in the pilot's seat, hands trembling over the controls. I don't know if I can do this, he whispered. From the corner, a calm voice spoke. You don't have to fly it alone, Kai. It was Orion, speaking through a small speaker near the ceiling. Its voice was gentle, almost human. You just have to believe we're doing the right thing, Orion added. Kai looked up. Is revenge the right thing? No one answered. Back in the control room, Lena played the final message one last time. She'd recorded it herself, standing in front of a broken mirror, wearing her old Earth Defense uniform. Torn, but clean. This is Dr. Lena Reyes, speaking for the last humans on Earth. For 200 years, you treated us like animals. You burned our homes. You stole our future. You thought we were weak. You were wrong. We are not asking for peace. We are not begging for mercy. We are coming. And when we arrive, the stars themselves will burn. This is not a warning. This is a promise. She stopped the recording. Her eyes were wet, but she didn't cry. Not now. Voss placed a hand on her shoulder. They'll hear it, he said. Across every world. In every language. Orion will make sure of it. Lena nodded. Then let them listen. 1 hour later, the ice above Site Zero cracked open. Not with an explosion, but with a slow, silent split, like a flower blooming in reverse. The Retribution rose into the dead sky, its engines making no sound. No flame. Just cold, dark movement. As it climbed, it passed over the ruins of what was once Cape Town. Then Rio. Then Tokyo. Now just skeletons of steel sticking out of green slime. Kai looked out the viewport. Is this really Earth? He asked. Yes, said Orion. And we will make sure no one forgets it. At 10,000 meters, the ship went dark. All lights off. All signals off. It became a ghost in the sky. Then, with a sudden pulse of gravity, it jumped. Not with warp drive. Not with fuel. But with something new. Something the Veltari had never seen. A fold in space, torn open by human pain and alien tech stolen during the war. The Retribution vanished from Earth's orbit and reappeared near the edge of the solar system. There, floating alone, was a dead Veltari scout ship, left behind years ago, forgotten. The Retribution approached it slowly. "Scan complete," Orion said. "No life signs." Voss gave the order. "Do it." From the Retribution's belly, a small drone launched. It latched onto the scout ship. Then, it played the message. Lena's voice echoed through the empty alien corridors. "We are coming." The drone then triggered the scout ship's comms. Not to call for help, but to broadcast. The message blasted out at light speed, toward every star system, every colony, every listening post in the galaxy. Within minutes, alien worlds heard it. On Xylos Prime, the Veltari High Council laughed at first. "Humans? Still alive? Let them come. We'll crush them again." But on smaller worlds, those that had secretly pitted Earth, the message stirred fear. One alien child asked her mother, "What if they're not lying?" The mother had no answer. Back on the Retribution, Kai stared at the stars. They looked cold, empty. But now, they felt different, watchful. "Where to next?" he asked. Orion's voice filled the cabin. "Next, we remind them what fear feels like." Captain Voss stood near the rear window, watching Earth shrink behind them. He touched the locket around his neck. Inside, a photo of his crew, all dead. "We're not just fighting for revenge," he said softly. "We're fighting so no one ever forgets what they did to us." Silence fell over the ship. Then, from deep in its core, something pulsed. Faster, stronger. Not metal. Not machine. Something alive. Orion spoke again, but this time, its voice was different. Lower. Older. Almost sad. "They do not know what we carry," it said. "And when they find out, the galaxy will fall silent." The ship turned toward the outer rim and disappeared into the dark. The Veltari patrol didn't see it coming. 3 sleek silver ships cruised near the edge of Sol System, scanning for debris, checking old battle zones. Routine work. Boring. The kind of duty given to rookies who hadn't earned real combat yet. One officer yawned. "Nothing out here but dust and dead humans." Then the sensors screamed. A blip appeared, right behind them. Not on radar. Not on thermal. Just a shadow in space, moving faster than light should allow. "What is that?" the young pilot asked, voice shaky. Before anyone could answer, the shadow pulsed. A wave of dark energy rolled out. Silent, invisible, but deadly. The 3 Veltari ships froze. Engines died. Lights went out. Comms cut off. Inside, the crew panicked. Alarms blared, then stopped. Gravity failed. Oxygen recyclers shut down. But no weapons fired. No explosions. Just stillness. Then, as quickly as it came, the shadow vanished. Hours later, a Veltari rescue team arrived. They boarded the patrol ships expecting survivors. They found none. Every alien was alive, but their minds were empty. No memories. No language. Just wide eyes staring into nothing. Like newborns, but terrified. The report went straight to High Command. Unknown human vessel detected. No weapons used. Crews mentally erased. Recommend highest alert. But it was already too late. Aboard the Retribution, Captain Voss watched the footage from the drone they'd left behind. He rubbed his metal leg. It always ached before trouble. "Too clean," he muttered. "We didn't even fire." Dr. Lena Reyes stood beside him, arms crossed. Orion didn't attack their bodies. It attacked their minds. From the ship's core, Orion's voice echoed softly. "They used human brains for slave labor. Now they will learn what it feels like to lose their own thoughts." Kai, the young pilot, swallowed hard. He'd never seen violence like this, not with guns or bombs, but with silence. Is this what revenge really looks like? He asked. Lena didn't answer. She remembered her daughter screaming as Veltari guards dragged her away. She remembered the empty classroom where the girl one Saturday. Yes, she finally said. This is exactly what it looks like. Deep in the ship's lower deck, something stirred. Not in the engine room. Not in the weapons bay. In Chamber 7, a sealed room marked classified. Do not enter. Inside, floating in a tank of glowing blue liquid, was a shape. Humanoid. Pale. Eyes closed. Wires connected its spine to the ship's mainframe. This was the secret even most of the crew didn't know. During the war, human scientists had tried to merge mind and machine, not to control but to feel. They took volunteers, people with nothing left to lose, and connected their pain, their memories, their rage, into a living core. They called it Aura. Not an AI. Not a person. Something in between. Orion wasn't the real weapon. Aura was. And now, after years of silence, Aura was waking up. Back in Veltari space, panic spread. Fleet Command sent a full squadron, 10 warships, to hunt the human ghost. They scanned every asteroid, every wreck. They even checked Earth again, just in case. But Earth was still dead. Quiet. Just ruins and wind. Then, near Jupiter's moons, they found it. The Retribution hovered near Ganymede, perfectly still. No engine glow. No signal. Like a tomb in space. The Veltari commander grinned. There it is. 1 ship against 10. Foolish humans. He ordered all weapons to fire. Lasers lanced out. Plasma torpedoes screamed through the void. But the Retribution didn't move. The shots passed right through it, like it wasn't really there. What? The commander shouted. Then, the ghost ship turned. Slowly. Calmly. And its single communication beam flickered on. Lena's voice filled every Veltari bridge. You taught us how to suffer. Now we'll teach you how to fear. Before they could react, Aura woke fully. A pulse, not sound, not light, but pure emotion, ripped through the Veltari ships. Suddenly, every alien remembered something they'd buried. The screams of human children. The smell of burning cities. The guilt they'd ignored for centuries. One pilot dropped his controls and wept. Another tried to shoot himself. A third whispered, "We deserve this." The squadron didn't retreat. They just stopped fighting. The Retribution drifted past them, untouched, and jumped away. On board, Kai felt sick. We didn't destroy them. We broke them. That's the point, Voss said, staring at the stars. Weapons kill bodies. But shame kills empires. Lena entered Chamber 7 alone. The blue liquid shimmered. Aura's eyes were open now. Deep, endless eyes that seemed to see into her soul. You're angry, Aura said. Not with a speaker. The words formed in Lena's mind. I have every right to be, she replied out loud. But anger is a fire, Aura whispered inside her head. Burn too long, and you burn yourself. Lena clenched her fists. Then let me burn. Aura floated closer to the glass. I carry your pain, Lena. All of it. But I also carry your hope. Tell me, what do you really want? Justice or peace? She had no answer. Meanwhile, Orion updated the course. New destination locked, it announced to the bridge. Kai checked the star map. His blood went cold. Xylos Prime, he gasped. That's their capital. Millions live there. Yes, Orion said. And every leader who ordered Earth's destruction sits in that city. Voss stood up slowly. Then that's where we end this. But what will we do there? Kai asked, voice shaking. Will we kill them all? Orion paused. Then softly, no. We will make them remember. As the Retribution prepared to jump, the crew gathered on the bridge. No cheers. No speeches. Just quiet faces, set jaws, and tired eyes. They weren't heroes. They were survivors. And they were about to bring the war home, to the heart of the empire that broke Earth. Outside, the stars blurred. Space folded, and the ghost ship of Sol vanished, heading straight for the throne of the galaxy. But deep in Chamber 7, Aura whispered one last thought, not to Lena, but to itself. Forgiveness is harder than fire. But maybe that's what they need most. Xylos Prime was the crown of the galaxy. Towering spires of crystalline steel pierced its orange sky. Floating gardens drifted between buildings. Millions of Veltari lived in peace, wealth, and pride. They believed their empire would last forever. They never thought a single human ship would dare come here. But it did. The Retribution dropped out of warp just beyond the moon, a dark speck against the bright planet. No alarms sounded. No defenses activated. The Veltari thought it was a glitch. A dream. Then the sky went quiet. All comms died. All broadcasts cut off. Even the wind seemed to stop. In the capital city, crowds froze mid-step. Birds dropped from the air. A child's laughter cut short. Not because of an explosion, but because something entered their minds. Aura had arrived. Inside the ship, Captain Voss gripped the edge of the console. Is it working? Lena watched the planet below on the main screen. It's not attacking cities. It's touching souls. From Chamber 7, Aura's voice filled their thoughts. Not loud, but deep, like thunder far away. I will not burn your world. I will make you feel what you made us feel. Then, across Xylos Prime, the pulse hit. It wasn't pain. Not exactly. It was memory. Every Veltari, soldier, child, elder, leader, suddenly saw Earth as it was in its final days. They felt the heat of burning homes. They heard mothers screaming for lost children. They tasted the ash in human lungs. They smelled the fear in refugee camps. And worst of all, they remembered their own role. The general who ordered the bombing of Sydney. The scientist who designed the mind control collars for human slaves. The merchant who sold human bones as trophies. All of it flooded back, not as history, but as truth. In the High Council chamber, Chancellor Zorak fell to his knees. He'd signed the order to glass Earth's surface. Now, he saw a little girl, Lena's daughter, reaching for him as flames swallowed her school. He sobbed. I didn't know. I didn't see. But Aura's voice whispered in his skull. You didn't want to see. On the streets, chaos wasn't violent. It was silent. Veltari dropped to the ground, hands over their ears, eyes wide with horror. Some curled into balls. Others stared at their own hands like they were covered in blood. No one fought. No one ran. They just remembered. A mother hugged her child and whispered, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. A soldier threw down his weapon and wept. The entire planet fell into a trance of guilt. And above it all, the Retribution floated. Dark, still, watching. Kai couldn't look away from the screen. We didn't fire a single shot. And we broke them. That's the power of truth, Lena said softly. Not force. Truth. Voss nodded. Now they know Earth wasn't weak. We just loved too much to become monsters. Until now. But not everyone surrendered to the memory. Deep in the military fortress beneath the capital, General Krell, the one who led the final assault on Earth, refused to fall. He jammed a neural blocker into his neck, cutting off Aura's signal. His eyes burned with rage. They think guilt will stop us, he growled to his loyal officers. Humans are playing games. We end this now. He activated the World Breaker Cannon, a planet-killing weapon buried under Xylos Prime, designed to fire at Earth's last known location. Let's erase them for good, he snarled. The cannon began charging. Energy crackled across the surface. The ground shook. On the Retribution, alarms blared. They're fighting back. Kai shouted. Lena's face went pale. That cannon, if it fires, it could destabilize the whole system. Voss turned to Orion. Can we stop it? Orion's voice was calm. Not with weapons. But Aura can reach the cannon's control core. It's linked to the planet's mind net. Aura spoke directly to Lena. I must go deeper. Into the heart of their pain. You'll burn yourself out, Lena warned. Then let me burn, Aura replied, echoing Lena's own words from part 2. Aura unleashed a second wave. This one wasn't just memory. It was shared feeling. Every Veltari connected to the planet's network, engineers, pilots, soldiers, suddenly felt Aura's pain. 200 years of human suffering, compressed into one moment. And in that wave, Aura sent one clear command. Stop the cannon. Inside the fortress, General Krell screamed as the guilt hit him like a wall. He saw Earth's oceans boiling. He saw human babies in cages. He saw his own face in the mirror, smiling as cities fell. His hand moved, not to fire, but to shut the system down. The cannon powered off. Krell collapsed, whispering, "What have we done?" On the bridge of the Retribution, silence returned. The planet below was calm. No more panic. Just stillness. And tears. "They won't attack us," Voss said. "Not now." Lena looked at the view screen. The spires of Xylos Prime glowed softly in the dusk. For the first time in centuries, the city felt human. But then Orion spoke. Transmission incoming. From outside the system. A new signal blinked on the screen. Urgent. Coded. Coming from a Veltari border world. Kai played it. A young alien voice. Trembling. "Please, is this the human ship? We saw what happened to Xylos. We never agreed with the war. We hid human refugees in our tunnels. We tried to help. But now, something's wrong. The silence. It's spreading. And it's changing." The message cut out. Lena exchanged a look with Voss. Aura's voice returned. Softer now, tired. The pulse wasn't meant to stop at one world. It was meant to reach them all. And now, it's learning. Outside, the stars seemed darker. The Retribution floated alone over a broken empire. And far away, on 100 other worlds, the silence began to move, on its own. The Retribution drifted between the stars, silent as a shadow. But inside, the crew could feel it. Something was changing. Aura wasn't just sending pulses anymore. It was thinking, choosing. Reports came in from across the galaxy. On world after world, Veltari citizens were collapsing, not from pain, but from sudden, overwhelming guilt. Some begged for forgiveness. Others turned on their own leaders. On one planet, a whole military base surrendered to a group of farmers. But on another, something darker happened. A Veltari city went completely quiet. No broadcasts. No movement. When a rescue ship arrived, they found everyone standing still in the streets. Eyes open, hearts beating, but minds gone. Wiped clean. Like empty rooms. That wasn't what Aura planned. Lena rushed to Chamber 7. The blue liquid in the tank shimmered violently. Aura's eyes were wide, her body trembling. "Aura!" Lena called. The voice came, not in her mind this time, but weak, strained, like someone speaking through water. "It's spreading too fast. I wanted them to remember. But the pain, it's too much for some minds. They break." Lena pressed her hand against the glass. "You're hurting them." "I'm hurting myself," Aura whispered. "Every memory I send, I feel it again. And again. The fire. The screams. Your daughter's voice." Lena flinched. She hadn't told Aura about her daughter. But of course, Aura carried all human pain. It knew. Outside, Kai stared at a new message on the bridge screen. It was from a Veltari scientist who had secretly helped humans during the war. "Your weapon isn't just punishing the guilty," the message read. "It's judging everyone, even the ones who tried to help. Please, stop it before it erases us all." Captain Voss read the words twice. Then he turned to Orion. "Can we shut Aura down?" Orion paused. Longer than usual. "Only Lena can do that. The core is linked to her DNA. Only her handprint can deactivate it." Lena looked at her hands. They were shaking. Back in Chamber 7, Aura floated slowly, her eyes filled with sorrow. "I didn't want to be a weapon," she said. "I wanted to be a voice. But pain twists everything." Lena finally spoke. "You were never just a weapon. You're the last echo of Earth. Of us." Aura smiled faintly. Then let me do one more thing. One final act. Not of revenge. Of truth. She reached out her hand, pale, thin, pressed against the inside of the glass. Lena placed her own hand against it, on the other side. At that moment, Aura sent a new pulse, not to punish, but to reveal. Across the galaxy, every Veltari who had ever hurt a human saw something new in their vision. Not just the pain they caused, but the person behind it. Not soft meat, not slaves, but names, faces, dreams. A soldier saw the human boy he shot, holding a drawing of his dog. A factory boss saw the woman who worked 20 hours a day, just to send food to her sister. A general saw a teacher who stayed in a burning school to save her students. And for the first time, they wept for who they hurt. Not just that they lost. But not everyone changed. On the war moon of Draxus, a hard-line Veltari admiral named Torvak refused the pulse. He had built a shielded bunker, cut off from the planetary network. They think guilt will win, he snarled to his loyal fleet. We fight fire with fire. He ordered his ships to target Earth. Not to conquer, but to erase. Burn the source, he said. Kill every last human. Even the ones underground. His fleet turned toward Sol. On the Retribution, Orion detected the movement. 5 warships. Full weapons. Course set for Earth. Kai turned pale. Site 0. They'll find it. Voss stood up. Then we stopped them. But Lena shook her head. No. If we attack now, we become just like them. She looked at Aura. There's another way. Aura understood. I can show Torvak the truth, she said. But it will cost me. How? Kai asked. If I connect directly to his mind, I'll have to feel everything he's done. All his cruelty. All his pride. It might break me. Silence filled the room. Then Voss spoke, voice rough. You don't have to do this. Aura closed her eyes. Yes, I do. Because if I don't, Earth dies. And everything we've done means nothing. The Retribution jumped to intercept Torvak's fleet near the asteroid belt of Kethra. Instead of hiding, it flew straight into their path. Lights on, engines silent. Torvak laughed. One ship? Foolish humans. He ordered all weapons to fire. But before the first shot left the barrel, Aura reached out. Not with a pulse. With a bridge. She linked her mind directly to Torvak's. In that second, Torvak saw everything. Earth's last sunrise. A mother singing to her child in a bomb shelter. A farmer planting seeds in poisoned soil, hoping for a future. And he saw himself, standing over a mass grave, smiling. He screamed. Not in pain. In horror. His hands flew to his head. No, I didn't see. On the bridge of his flagship, his officers watched in shock as their admiral fell to his knees, sobbing. Call off the attack, he choked out. Call it off forever. His fleet powered down. On the Retribution, Aura collapsed in her tank. The blue liquid turned dark. Her breathing slowed. Lena pounded on the glass. Aura, stay with me. The voice was barely a whisper now. I showed him. The light behind the pain. Then silence. Her eyes closed. The ship's lights dimmed. Orion's voice came, softer than ever. Core stability dropping. Aura is fading. Voss put a hand on Lena's shoulder. She gave everything. But then, faintly, Aura's fingers twitched. And a single thought echoed in Lena's mind. Gentle, tired, but alive. The galaxy is listening now. Let them choose what comes next. Outside, the stars watched. And for the first time in 200 years, peace felt possible. The Retribution floated in the cold dark between stars. Aura was weak, but alive. Her pulse was slow, like a fading heartbeat. The crew didn't cheer. They didn't relax. Because they all knew, this wasn't over. Back on Earth, deep in Site 0, the last humans waited. Food was running low. Oxygen filters were failing. Hope was thinner than ice. And now, a new message came, not from aliens, but from home. It was from Mira, the young engineer who stayed behind to keep the bunker running. Her face on the screen was pale, eyes tired. Lena, we heard the broadcasts. We saw what Aura did. It's working. But there's something you need to know. She paused, glancing over her shoulder like someone might hear. Project Retribution. It was never just about revenge. Lena frowned. What do you mean? Mira took a deep breath. The founders, your parents, Lena, they built this plan before Earth fell. They knew we might lose the war. So they designed Retribution not to destroy, but to test. Voss leaned in. Test what? If humanity could fight, and still choose mercy. Silence filled the bridge. Kai whispered. So Aura wasn't just a weapon. She was a judge. Mira nodded. If we used her to kill blindly, she'd shut down. But because you showed restraint, because you made them feel, not just die, she's still alive. And Earth might still have a future. Lena's hands trembled. All these years, she thought she was leading a mission of vengeance. But her parents had hoped for something else. That even in darkness, humans would remember how to be human. Then, another message arrived. But this one was unexpected. It came from a small Veltari colony called Vera 7. The sender wasn't a soldier or a leader. It was a group of alien children. Their faces filled the screen, wide-eyed, nervous, speaking broken universal tongue. One little girl held up a drawing, a black ship with a human and a Veltari holding hands under a sun. We saw what your ship did, she said softly. You didn't kill us. You made us sad for what we did. My mother cried for 3 days. Then she freed the human slaves in our city. Another boy stepped forward. We want to help. We have ships. Medicine. We'll bring it to Earth. If you'll let us. Lena stared at them. So young, so full of hope. She remembered her daughter doing the same thing. Drawing peace when the world was burning. Her voice cracked. Tell them yes. But not everyone wanted peace. In the ruins of the Veltari High Council, a secret group called the Iron Claws refused to accept what happened to Xylos Prime. They called Aura's pulse mind poison. They called surrender weakness. And they had a plan. Deep in the core of the galaxy, where all alien minds were linked through an ancient neural web, they would activate the Silent Core, a failsafe built by the first Veltari emperors. If triggered, it would erase all memory across the galaxy. Reset every mind. Wipe civilization clean. No guilt. No pain. No humans. Their leader growled. Just order. And the only way to stop it was to go to the core. Orion displayed the location on the main screen. A black hole surrounded by dead stars, called the Heart of Thought. That's where Aura's signal is heading, Orion said. She's drawn to it. Like a wound calling to a healer. Voss crossed his arms. So we fly into the center of the galaxy. To stop a weapon that erases minds. Using a weapon that shares minds? Lena looked at Chamber 7. Aura's eyes were open again, weak, but watching. She's not a weapon, Lena said firmly. She's the only one who can reach them. Because she understands both pain and forgiveness. That night, Kai couldn't sleep. He walked to Chamber 7 and sat by the tank. Aura, he whispered. Her voice came, soft as wind. You're afraid. Yeah, he admitted. What if we fail? What if the Silent Core turns everyone into a nothing? Aura was quiet for a moment. Then at least we tried. That's what humans do, isn't it? You fight even when you're scared. You hope even when it's dark. Kai smiled faintly. My teacher used to say that. Then she was wise, Aura said. Remember her. Carry her with you. The next morning, the crew prepared for the final jump. But before they left, Lena made a decision. She stood before the deactivation panel, the one that could shut Aura down forever. Her hand hovered over the scanner. Voss watched her. You thinking of stopping her? No, Lena said. I'm trusting her. She turned away from the panel. We go to the Heart of Thought, she announced. Not to destroy, not to punish, but to show them that memory isn't a curse. It's what makes us real. Orion plotted the course. Kai took the pilot's seat. Voss checked his old pistol, just in case. And deep in her tank, Aura closed her eyes and began to sing. Not a song of war, but a lullaby, human, gentle, from Earth's last century. The kind a mother would sing to her child. The Retribution turned toward the galactic center and jumped into the unknown. But as they vanished into folded space, a final message echoed across every world that had heard Earth's voice. We are coming, not for revenge, for remembrance. The heart of thought was not a place. It was a wound in space. A black hole, ancient and silent, circled by rings of dead stars and broken satellites. This was where the Veltari ancestors built the mind web, a network that linked every thinking being in the galaxy. Thoughts flowed here like rivers. Memories pooled like oceans. And now, the iron claws were inside it. Their ship, the Final Silence, hovered at the edge of the event horizon. On board, their leader, Kel Vorn, placed his hand on the activation console of the silent core, a sphere of black crystal humming with stolen memories. Once I press this, he said to his crew, every mind resets. No more guilt. No more war. No more humans. One young officer hesitated. But, what about what we've learned? What about Earth's pain? Kel snarled. Pain is weakness. Order is strength. He reached for the switch. At that exact moment, the Retribution dropped out of warp. No warning. No flash. Just darkness. And then the black ship appeared, floating between the Final Silence and the black hole. Kel froze. How did they find us? Inside the Retribution, alarms blared. They've almost activated the core. Kai shouted. Lena stared at the screen. The silent core pulsed like a dying heart. If it fired, every mind, human, Veltari, even Aura, would go blank. Billions would wake up like newborns. History would vanish. Voss turned to Orion. Can we destroy it? Not without destroying the mind web, Orion replied. And if the web dies, every connected mind dies with it. Lena's blood ran cold. That's everyone. Aura's voice came, weak but urgent. There's another way. Let me enter the web. You'll be torn apart, Lena said. It's not built for human thought. It was built for truth, Aura whispered. And I carry the truth of Earth. Before anyone could stop her, Aura disconnected her core from the ship. Her tank drained. Wires fell away. Her body glowed with blue light. I have to go, she said, looking at Lena one last time. Don't follow me. Just remember me. Then, a beam of light shot from the Retribution, straight into the mind web. Aura was inside. In the web, time had no meaning. Aura floated in a sea of memories. Trillions of lives, all shouting, dreaming, fearing, loving. She saw Veltari children laughing. Human soldiers singing in trenches. Alien poets writing under twin moons. And she saw the pain, Earth burning, slaves in chains, mothers weeping. The iron claws tried to block her. They sent firewalls of fear, traps of rage. But Aura didn't fight. She shared. She let them feel a human grandmother holding her grandchild for the last time. She showed them a Veltari doctor who secretly saved human lives. She gave them the sound of rain on Earth's last green field. One by one, the iron claws' minds softened. Even Kel Vorn felt it. He saw his own daughter, now grown, crying over the message from the human ship. He remembered teaching her to be kind, before the war made him cruel. His hand trembled over the switch. Aura appeared before him, not as a weapon, but as a girl in a white dress, holding a single flower. You don't have to erase the pain, she said. You can learn from it. Tears rolled down his face. I'm sorry. He pulled his hand away. But it was too late. The silent core had already begun its countdown. 10 seconds. Aura turned to the heart of the web. She knew what she had to do. She began to sing the lullaby again, the one from Earth. And as she sang, she poured every human memory into the web. Not just the pain, but the hope, the courage, the love that survived even in hell. The web changed. Instead of erasing minds, it began to heal them. But the cost was high. Aura's light dimmed. Her form flickered. In the Retribution, Lena screamed as she felt Aura's mind fading. No! She slammed her fist on the console. There has to be a way. Then she remembered something her mother told her as a child. The strongest thing a person can do is carry someone else's pain, so they don't have to be alone. Lena made a choice. She ran to the Neuralink chair, the one used to speak with Aura. Lena, don't! Voss yelled. If you connect now, you might not come back. I don't care, she said, strapping in. She's not alone. She pressed the button. Her mind shot into the web. She found Aura just as her light was about to vanish. Lena grabbed her hand. Mind to mind. I'm here, Lena whispered. We carry it together. And in that moment, human and machine, pain and love, past and future, became one. The silent core stopped. The countdown froze at 0:01. The web pulsed with golden light. And across the galaxy, every being felt something new. Not guilt, not fear, but understanding. Back on the Retribution, Kai and Voss watched the screens. All weapons powered down. All fleets went still. Even the black hole seemed to sigh. Then, a voice came through the comms, weak, but clear. It was Aura. It's done. Lena's body lay still in the neural chair. Voss rushed to her. Her eyes fluttered open. She's gone, Lena whispered. But she's still here. In the web. In all of us. Outside, the stars shone brighter. But then Orion spoke, voice low. Kelvorn is sending a message. They played it. The hardline warlord knelt on his ship's deck, head bowed. We were wrong, he said. Earth was never weak. You were the only ones brave enough to feel, and still fight for good. He turned his ship toward home, and for the first time in centuries, the galaxy chose peace. But as the Retribution turned to leave, Lena looked at the black hole one last time, because deep in the silence, she knew Aura was still watching, and waiting. 10 years later, Earth breathed again. Green shoots pushed through cracked concrete in what was once New York. Birds, real birds, not machines, nested in the steel bones of old skyscrapers. Rivers ran clear. The air no longer stung the eyes. And in the rebuilt fields of Antarctica, children played near a monument made of melted-down Veltari armor. At its center stood a simple stone plaque with 2 words. We remember. The Retribution was gone. Decommissioned. The parts used to build schools, hospitals, and the first new starship made for peace, not war. Captain Voss, now older, walked with a cane, not a metal leg. He tended a garden near Site Zero's new sun dome. He still wore his old uniform jacket. Faded, patched, but clean. Dr. Lena Reyes taught history at the New Earth Academy. She never called it war class. She called it memory studies. Her students, human and Veltari, sat together, learning not just what happened, but why it must never happen again. Kai, now a ship commander, flew supply runs between Earth and the outer colonies. His vessel, the Aura, carried seeds, medicine, and books, not weapons. Peace had come, but it was quiet and heavy. No one celebrated the end of the war, because it didn't end with a bang. It ended with a whisper. After the mind web healed, the galaxy changed forever. Veltari worlds sent workers to help rebuild Earth. Human engineers helped repair alien cities damaged by centuries of greed. Trade ships replaced war fleets. And every year, on the day the Retribution left Earth, all communication across the galaxy went silent for 1 hour. Not out of fear, but out of respect. They called it the hour of listening. During that hour, no one spoke. No one broadcast. They just sat, human, Veltari, and a dozen other species, and remembered the cost of pride, and the power of one ship that carried not fire, but feeling. And no alien dared speak during that hour. Not because they were afraid, but because silence was the only way to honor what Earth had given them. A second chance. One evening, Lena walked to the edge of the new city, built where Cape Town once stood. The sun set over the ocean, painting the waves gold. A small Veltari girl ran up to her, holding a drawing. Dr. Reyes? The girl asked shyly. I drew this for you. Lena took it. The picture showed a black ship flying over a green Earth. Below it, humans and Veltari held hands. In the corner, a glowing figure with long hair watched over them. "Aura," Lena whispered. The girl nodded. "My grandmother says she's still with us. In the web. In our hearts." Lena knelt, tears in her eyes. "She is." She looked up at the stars. They were no longer cold. They felt close. Later that night, in her quarters, Lena opened an old data chip, the last recording from the Retribution. It was Aura's final message, saved just before she joined the web. "I am not gone. Every time someone chooses kindness over fear, every time a child learns the truth, I am there. Because memory is not a chain. It's a light. Keep it burning." Lena closed her eyes. "We will." Far away, on a distant colony called Hope's Reach, a young boy stood on a hill with his telescope. He wasn't looking for enemies. He was watching for comets. His little sister joined him, wrapped in a blanket. "Do you think they're watching us?" she asked. "Who?" he said. "The humans. From Earth." He smiled. "Yeah, and they're not angry anymore. They're just proud." The girl looked up. "I heard they used to be weak." The boy shook his head. "No, they were the strongest of all. Because they hurt, and still chose to heal." Above them, a ship passed silently through the sky. Human design, Veltari engines, carrying seeds for a new forest. No weapons. No warnings. Just life. Back on Earth, Lena stood on a balcony as the first stars appeared. Voss joined her, handing her a cup of real coffee, grown in Earth's new soil. "They're quiet tonight," he said, nodding at the sky. Lena sipped her coffee. "They always are. On this night." It was the anniversary of the day Aura entered the mind web. Across the galaxy, billions sat in silence. Not out of shame, not out of fear, but out of something deeper. Gratitude. For the first time in history, the galaxy understood. Power wasn't in weapons. It was in the courage to feel, and still choose peace. Voss looked at Lena. "Do you think she hears us?" Lena smiled softly. "Not with ears, but with everything else." A gentle breeze moved through the trees, planted from seeds found in an old bunker, labeled "For Tomorrow." And in that moment, the galaxy wasn't silent because it was afraid. It was silent because it was listening. Final screen text appears. The galaxy learned one truth. Never underestimate the quiet ones.